दार्विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु महाभगवत श्री गोरक्षदास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। नित्याल्प विश्व श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौड़ीय गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। जय श्री कार्तिक व्रत नियम सेवा की जाय। ऊर्ज व्रत की जाय। ऊर्जेश्वरी रासेश्वरी शिव शुभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जाय। जय श्री जय श्री यशोदा दामोदर की जाय। श्री राधा दामोदर की जाय। जय अम, श्री दामोदराष्टक की जय। श्री सत्यव्रत मुनि की जय। जय श्री सनातन गोस्वामी दिग्दर्शिनी वृत्ति की जय। जय श्री गुरुदेव's commentary on that vritti ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Hari. No, wait. Shri Sanatana Goswami, I think, wrote the Dig-darśinī, and then Gurudev wrote the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti, I think. Anyways. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtani ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. We'll do short Mangalacharan and then begin. अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। Let's recite this together. This is Anga Shamalima Chata Birabito Mandi Kritendi Varam Jadyam Jagurarochisam Vidadatam Pattambarasya Shriya Vrindaranya Vilasinam Hridilasad Dama Viramodaram राधास्कन्धनिवेशितोज्ज्वलभुजं ध्यायेम दामोदरम् तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय देवी त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम् भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताश्चकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Mayank Gupta ji, Ramakanta Prabhu. I see there's a bunch of people on YouTube and Facebook. I logged in this restream program a bit late though, so I might be missing the early comments. But I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there. Raseshwari Mataji said that she'll be joining very soon. And all of Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Rupa Raghunath Prabhu. Yeah, if I'm missing anybody, you can write a comment because I see a ton of people are watching right now. And also all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi and Jayadev Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams. So we are continuing our Kartik program. This year, our Kartik program is going to be very simple, just reading from this Damodarāṣṭakam book. And then if we finish Damodarāṣṭakam, then I would like to complete reading the Shikshashtak. We were reading the commentaries of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur and Śrīla Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So this Damodarāṣṭak, we're reading let's just look. This is a new edition. We fixed up a lot of things. This is Śrī Satyavrata Muni's Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭak, written by Śrī Krishna Dvaipāyana Vedavyāsa, and it has the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā by the crest jewel among Śrī Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Śrīla Śrī Yukta Sanātana Gosvāmī, and verse and tika translations and annotations by Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Paramahansa Swami, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti by the best among his followers, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And then at the end, when we finish reading that, then we will read the Dham Bandhan Lila from Śrī Gopal Champu by Śrīla Jiva Goswami Padre. And Hare Krishna Bharat Bhushan Prabhu. Hari Bol. Okay, so one second, let me just, okay. Okay, sorry, I'm just getting something set up. Oh, and Hari Bol Jai Shri Didi. Okay. So we will read, dedicated to my holy master, Śrī Gaudiya Vedantacharya Kesari Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami Mahārāja, the best among the 10th generation of descendants in the Bhagavad Parampara from Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the founder of the Śrī Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti and its branches throughout the world. Okay, I guess we can, we'll read the foreword is this by Param Gurudev? No, this is by the editors. Okay. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, which is observed for the entire month of Kārtika, is the most important vrat for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It has become famous by the name Damodar because Śrī Krishna's pastime of being bound with rope by his mother took place during this month. Dama means rope, and bandhan means to bind. Thus, this pastime is known as Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Śrī Satyavrata Muni's eternally perfect Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam is part of the Padma Purāṇa, which was recorded by Sri Kṛṣṇa Dvaipāyana Vedavyāsa. This Ashtakam, our prayer comprising 8 verses, reveals many deep and fundamental secrets about this beautiful pastime. Therefore, all of our Gaudiya acharyas have prescribed that we sing it every day during the month of Kārtika, if we are serious about pleasing Kārtiki Śrīmati Radhika, the presiding goddess of the month of Kārtika. Or Kārtikeshwari Śrīmati Radhika. Singing this Ashtakam every day during the month of Kārtika is so vital that Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī, the crest jewel among Śrī Gaudiya Vaishnavas, has written a lucid and penetrating commentary on it, known as the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā. Isn't it, the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā is Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī's commentary on Hari Bhakti Vilas, right? And I'm guessing Damodarāṣṭakam is in Hari Bhakti Vilas, and so this is coming from that. This is just my guess. If anybody knows for sure, you can let me know. In 1954, Nitya-lila-pravishta Vishnupada Ashrutarashata Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, the founder of the Śrī Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, published Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam in the Bengali language after very carefully translating and annotating Śrīla Sanātana Goswami's commentary. And our own beloved Śrīla Gurudev, Parivrajacharya Tridandi Swami Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Goswami Maharaj, who is the best among the disciples of Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, has translated the former edition into Hindi with an additional commentary called the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti. Under his guidance, this English rendition is now being presented. Once, during the month of Kārtika, Śrīla Gurudev read Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Lila from Śrīla Jiva Goswami Pad's Gopal Champu to his spiritual master, Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Upon hearing the pastime narrated by Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj exhibited rare ecstatic symptoms. With Śrīla Gurudev's permission, we have included that same excerpt from Gopal Champu as an appendix to the present edition of Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, along with Śrīla Gurudev's brief recount of the aforementioned history. In the Bengali edition by Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, there are many footnotes and parenthetical statements clarifying the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā. In this English edition, therefore, all of these clarifications are marked by square brackets, with the exception of 2 footnotes in verse 4, 1 in verse 6, and 1 in verse 8. We have marked all of our own footnotes in this English edition as editor's footnotes. Where direct English translation of Sanskrit terms have been provided, standard parentheses have been used, the editors. Haribo Vidilala Sariri and Champak Mataji, Haribo. A few words on Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Okay, so now we're reading the introduction by our Param Gurudev Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. I think for a lot of you in the West, it's still his disappearance day, right? So, okay. Preface to the original Bengali edition. Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna Chandra, the original Supreme Lord, who possesses unlimited, inconceivable potencies, allows Mother Yaśodā to bind his waist with rope. In this way, he fully relishes the very essence of her immaculate humor of parental love, Vatsalya Prem Ras, for him, and graces the worlds with the ultimate example of his subservience to his devotees. He manifests that supremely charming pastime of being bound around his waist, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Lila, during the month of Kārtika, on the first day of the bright fortnight. This is the principal reason why the supremely blessed month of Kārtika has become famous by the name Damodar. And there's a footnote here. It says Damodar means he who has been bound, he's been bound by Dam, by a rope, around his udar, around his belly. Dam udar, rope belly. Acharyapad Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami compiled Shri Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is the Smriti Shastra, the code of conduct of the Vaishnavas. There he has outlined the devotional activities to be observed during the month of Kārtika. He points out the injunction to daily worship Śrī Radha Damodar and to recite the stotra, the prayer Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. He says in Hari Bhaktivedānta 16.197, he says, Radhikam pratimam vipra pujayet Kārtike tuya tasya tushyati tat prityay Śrīman Damodaro Hari. O learned Brahmins, one who worships the deity of Śrī Radhika for her pleasure during the month of Kārtika equally satisfies Śrī Damodar Hari. Damodarāṣṭakam nama stotram damodararchanam nityam damodarakarshi partet satyavratoditam. Hari Bhaktivedānta 16.198. One who worships Śrī Damodar during Kārtika month by daily reciting the prayer Śrī Damodarāṣṭakam, which was uttered by Śrī Satyavrata Muni as it arose in his heart, will perpetually attract Śrī Damodar himself. As stated above, Śrī Damodar Hari becomes pleased with those who worship Śrī Radhika for her pleasure during the month of Kārtika. And then there's a footnote by Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāman Gosvāmī Mahārāja from the preface to the Bengali edition. So he says, Srila Vāman Gosvāmī Mahārāja says, by performing worship of Śrī Radhika for her pleasure during the month of Kārtika, Śrī Damodar Hari becomes very pleased. This is because Urjeshwari Srimati Radharani, the controller of all potency, is the sole presiding goddess of this month. What is it? Just read this yesterday in the Radhikashtakam. Wait, sorry. I mean, it's... Anyways, I'll find that later. It was just a verse about how Srimati Radhika is she's Kārtikasya Adhishwari. Yeah, of the king of all months, Kārtik. Okay, as by Raghunath Das Goswami. So unless someone worships his Sarup Shakti, his internal potency, or Hladini Shakti, pleasure potency, Damodar, unless someone worships his Sarup Shakti or Hladini Shakti, Damodar Shri Kṛṣṇa, the possessor of all potencies, does not accept his worship. Moreover, Shri Radha Devi, Shri Kṛṣṇa's Antaranga Shakti, his internal potency, discards everything if she is worshipped alone without the Lord of her life. Now, we should never just worship Srimati Radhika alone. She discards that worship. Therefore, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the line of Shri Rupa and Shri Sarup Damodar Goswamis have exclusively adopted the worship of Yugala, the divine couple, in Radha Lingita Vigraha, the form of Kṛṣṇa when he is tightly embraced by Srimati Radhika. For the very same reason, Shri Kṛṣṇa Dvaipāyana Vedavyāsa has also offered his obeisances to Varshabhanavi Śrī Radhika and her beloved Śrī Damodar Kṛṣṇa, the orchestrators of unlimited pastimes, in the last verse of this Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. In other words, he has established the supremacy of Shakti and Shaktiman Tattva, the Tattva regarding the potency and the potent, on one basis. Okay, now back to Param Gurudev. This Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam stapa is narrated in the Padma Purāṇa, where it is spoken by Śrī Satyavrata Muni in the context of a conversation between Śrī Narad and other sages headed by Śrī Shonaka Rishi. In his commentary on this Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, Srila Sanātana Goswami Pad has stated, this prayer is Nitya Siddha, which means eternally perfect. It has manifested through Śrī Satyavrata Muni and is capable of attracting Śrī Damodar Kṛṣṇa. In his extensive explanation, which is replete with his personal realizations, Srila Sanātana Goswami has thoroughly revealed this prayer's ability to attract Śrī Damodar. For a long time, I have been nurturing the desire to publish this Śrī Damodarāṣṭakam. When we used to gather together, especially every Kārtika month while observing Damodar Vrat, we would regularly become absorbed in singing this Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam in unison. At such a time, the strong desire to make its secrets bloom within the hearts of all the sadhaks would arise within me. Furthermore, many bhakti sadhaks have also insistently requested me to publish it. Now, after so long, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam's original Sanskrit verses, synonyms, and Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī Pad's Sanskrit commentary called Dig-darśinī have been published. For readers who do not know Sanskrit, the Bengali translations of the original verses and the above-mentioned commentary by Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī have been included in this book. In the present age, it is noticed that many scholars whose intelligence has been spoiled by Kali have a spiteful outlook toward the propagation of the Sanskrit language. Nevertheless, we have still published this Sanskrit work, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, desiring to benefit the entire country. Literary scholars of the Bengali language must always keep in mind that if we are to promote the Bengali language, Sanskrit is our only support. As Sanskrit literature is promoted, Bengali literature is also certain to progress. Those who imagine that Bengali will be promoted while overstepping Sanskrit literature are gravely mistaken. We notice that the language of such scholars is unsystematic in every respect. The freedom of the Bengali language is subordinate to Sanskrit. In other words, it is not absolutely autonomous. Rather, it is paratantra swatantra. Its independence relies on Sanskrit. With this principle in mind, we are presenting this book to intellectual circles. Actually, our Param Gurudev was such a big promoter of Sanskrit. It's even in his Upadeshavali. Where is it? And he also established in Devananda Gaudiya Math, he established the Gaudiya Chatushpati, where they would teach Hari Bhakti Vilas. Sorry, why did I say Hari Bhakti Vilas? I meant to say Hari Namāmīśvaraṁ Vyakaranam. And why is it not loading? Anyways, I'll look for it later. But yeah, okay. Oh, it just uploaded. You want to find it? It's part of his Upadeshavali. I just thought it was relevant. Let's see. It's right here. Acharya Kesari. Where is the Upadeshavali? Huh. That's strange. That is Upadeshavali. Oh, I could just type in Upadeshavali. Duh. Upadeshavali. Yeah, here it is. I think it's I think there's a few ones. Yeah, look. So Upadeshavali number 18. He says, Bengali literature is celebrated as foremost throughout India because it exclusively follows Sanskrit literature. It is a matter of great regret that the Bengali language is now being disassociated from following in line with Sanskrit. The root causes for this are a lack of faith in the Sanskrit language and disrespect for the age-old Indian conceptions described in the Vedas, Upanishads, and Purāṇas. All problems can be solved by adopting Rishi Niti, set forth by sages in the fields of politics, social science, economics, etc. To adopt Rishi Niti, we have to study and discuss the ancient sacred Sanskrit literatures. In this regard, it is essential to root out the education department's negligence of Sanskrit. Oh, and there's another one. It says, I mean, this is not related, but it says, those who only observe Urja Vrat and neglect the rest of Chaturmasya Vrat cannot attain the full devotional fruit of Chaturmasya. Their negligence displays their disrespect of Chaturmasya. Anyways, okay. I'd love to do a go through Harinamamritya Vyakarana. Maybe we can do like if anybody's interested in learning that, we could learn together, like an online program to go through. If one examines the manner in which Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam conveys philosophical concepts, the excellence of its composition, the astonishing way in which it unfolds this pastimes, and other aspects of this ashtak, which was written down by Śrī Vyasadeva, it is obvious that it is an excellent work in the world of literature. Jagadguru Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī has written the detailed Dig-darśinī commentary on this ashtak, or prayer of 8 verses. Therein he has presented a sequential analysis of the realm of sadhana. Furthermore, he has established from every perspective the supremacy, first of vatsalya-ras, parental love, and finally madhur-ras, amorous love. Prakrit Sahajyas, and there's a footnote for Prakrit Sahajyas, Śrīla Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada states, endowed with material intelligence, Sahajyas cannot understand the topics concerning the transcendental spontaneous occupation of the living entity. Their misdeeds invite immorality and prevents the proper delineation of the true variegatedness of the supremely pure, the Vishuddha Sattva realm of Goloka. Such acts simply degrade their contaminated consciousness to indulge in sense gratification. As soon as confusion occurs about sadhana and siddhi, the stages of practice and perfection, the jiva becomes a prakrit sahajya. So they get it mixed up, sadhana and siddhi, practice and perfection. So they're trying to do the practices of perfection when they should be following the first steps of the practice of sadhana. So, and really means making these transcendental things, trying to make it material, prakrit, making it easy and material, prakrit sahajya. So these prakrit sahajyas discuss Raslila indiscriminately here and there, in whatever way they please. To expose the immorality of such activities, Gosvāmī has written the following at the end of his commentary on the 8th verse. Tatascha tayas saha rasat kridādikam paramastutitvenante varnayitum icchantascha parama gopyatvenan abhivyanjayan madurena samapayariti nyayena kinchid eva sanketenodishan pranamati. The translation of this part of the commentary, as well as an endnote, has been printed on page 137 of this book. There, an excellent deliberation is given in regard to such inappropriate discussions within Sahajya congregations. Since the Sahajyas are utterly unqualified, they cannot in any way be considered highly eligible candidates for relishing Raslila. As we know, bhakti is transcendental to the 3 worlds of material existence, so topics like Raslila cannot be understood within any worldly realm of analysis. The prakrit sahajyas think, dull matter can become chit, can become spiritual, and by the power of one sadhan, Bhagavan can be seen with one's material eyes. This is their conception. They say, just as bell metal transforms into gold when mercury is added to it, this prakrit, this material body becomes aprakrit, becomes transcendental by the power of bhajan. Then with these same material eyes, Bhagavan can be seen. Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī has completely refuted the statement of the prakrit sahajyas in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, as well as in his Dig-darśinī commentary on this Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Seeing Bhagavan within the mind and seeing him directly. In this regard, it is essential to carefully deliberate on the commentaries of Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī on verse 4 and verse 6 of this book. From the concepts presented in those 2 verses, the prakrit sahajyas may infer that Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī explains that seeing Bhagavan with one's eyes is superior to seeing him within the mind during meditation. that Goswāmī Pad has established Gopakumar's direct perception of Bhagavan with his eyes as superior to Brahma's vision of Bhagavan through meditation must be carefully considered. In this example, Goswāmī Pad is not referring to Gopakumar seeing Bhagavan with material eyes. Only after Gopakumar was situated in the realm of Vaikuntha, the transcendental platform, is it describes that he saw Bhagavan with his eyes. In the realm of Vaikuntha, the material senses do not exist. Therefore, the Gopas and Gopis' direct proximity with Śrī Bhagavan is in every respect transcendental and beyond the grasp of the material senses. This matter cannot be perceived by the senses of the Prakrit Sahajyas. Okay. I have already mentioned that Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam is to be sung and discussed daily while observing Urdhva-vṛtti, also known as Kārtika-vṛtti or Damodar-vṛtti. Those who wish to please Śrī Damodar in the month of Damodar should certainly read Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam daily and in its entirety. This is a specific injunction of Śrī Hari Bhaktivedānta. Various ways of observing Damodar-vṛtti are found in the scriptures. Urdhva-vṛtti comes within Chaturmasya-vṛtti. It begins from Ekadashi, Dwadashi, or Purnima, and ends on those very days, 1 month later. However, if these days are vidha, if they are penetrated, they should never be counted. Śrīla Sanātana Goswāmī Pad states, in vrats observed by Vaishnavas, vidha titis should be strictly rejected. Therefore, even the days on which the Chaturmasya and Urdhva-vṛttis begin or ends should be observed, discarding the vidha titis. The opinion of Śrī Hari Bhaktivedānta is that if the sun rises and penetrates the commencing or concluding titi of the Chaturmasya Vṛtta and Urdhva-vṛtti, then neither should be counted. In the following passages, we are quoting a short article by Śrīla Thakur Bhaktivinoda regarding Kārtika-vṛtti. This article clearly determines the day on which the duties involved in completing the vṛtta should be performed. The injunction given for those who begin their vṛtta on the day of Ekadashi also applies to those who start on Dwadashi or Purnima. The article is as follows. To observe Kārtika-vṛtti is a primary duty of a Vaishnava. So we're reading Bhaktivinoda Thakur right now. And then he quotes Hari Bhaktivedāsa 16:168. Says, Ashvinasya tumasasya ya shuklaikadashi bhavit kartikasya vratan iha tasyam kuryad atandritaha. Kārtika-vṛtti begins from the Ekadashi that comes within the bright fortnight of the month of Ashvin, September-October, and should be observed with great self-restraint and discipline. Bhaktivinoda Thakur continues, according to this statement, every year, from the Ekadashi that follows Vijayadashami, one should begin one's vṛtta and end it on the day of Uttana Ekadashi. The vṛtta observed during this particular month is called Niyam Seva. The rules of Niyam Seva are as follows. On every day of that month, during the last period of the night, one should purify oneself and perform Mangal Arati of Sri Kṛṣṇa. Later on in the morning, after bathing, one should perform Archan of Śrī Damodar. At night, one should offer burning wicks of ghee or sesame oil in Bhagavan's temple at the base of Tulsi and to the sky. In the month of Kārtika, one should eat food that is strictly vegetarian and offered to Bhagavan. One should not take food cooked by others. In other words, one should not dine out. And one should not sleep on another's bed, take oil or honey, or use bell metal utensils. After honoring Bhagavan's remnants, one should hear or study Śrīmad Bhagavatam and other scriptures in the association of Vaishnavas. One should incessantly perform Nam Kirtan of Śrī Hari and remember him. Following these rules, one should pass the entire month. So, yeah, when we do, at nighttime, when we do our offering the ghee wick, we should do it, in Bhagavan's temple, but also at the base of Tulsi and also to the sky. Okay, so then, so 1 month we should fast like that. Then on the day of Uttana Ekadashi, one should fast even from water and spends that night awake, absorbed in hearing and chanting topics about Śrī Kṛṣṇa. The next day, in the morning, one should purify oneself and then perform Hari Kirtan. Afterwards, one should distribute the Lord's prasad among one-pointed, intimately related Vaishnavas, and finally honor oneself. That day, at the end of the night, one will end the vṛtt. Okay, so that was the end of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation of how to follow. Now back to our Param Gurudev. To please Śrī Radha Damodar is the primary purpose of observing Urja Vṛtt. Srimati Radharani is addressed as Urjeshwari. Therefore, to please Śrī Damodar, Śrī Satyavrata Muni added the statement Namo Radhikāyai Todiya Priyāyai, thereby implying that in observing Śrī Damodar Vṛtt, worship of Śrī Radha Damodar is one's exclusive obligation. Among the 64 limbs of bhakti that are to be followed by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we find mention of Urjadar, honoring or observing Urja Vṛtt. One should understand that Urjadar refers to following the complete Chaturmasya Vṛtt. Some say, since there is no mention of observing Chaturmasya Vṛtt among the 64 limbs of bhakti, we will only observe Urja Vṛtt. We will not undergo the trouble of observing this 4-month vṛtt. People who try to perform bhajan in this manner, being unacquainted with the profound meanings of the scriptures, indulge in whimsical, undisciplined behavior. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed us, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he instructed us to observe this Chaturmasya Vṛtt through his own example by following it himself while in Sri Rangakshetra, in Sri Rangam. We cannot count as Shuddha Vaishnavas those who are unable to follow the teachings that were demonstrated and preached by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We want to substantiate our above statement with an example. Of the limbs of surrender of Sharanagati, only Atma Nivedan, submission of one's very self, is mentioned among the 9 types of bhakti, or Navada Bhakti. Will it then be concluded that the other 5 limbs of Sharanagati are prohibited, or to be excluded from one's sadhan? Since Atma Nivedan is topmost among the 6 ways of surrendering, one must understand that simply by its mention, all the other ways of surrender have also been prescribed for the practicing devotee. The 6 limbs of surrender are accepted only as one method of spiritual practice. Although one is primary, one is the angi, and the others are its elements, anga. Also, we hear that Gopyā Varan is the angi, right? And then all the rest are the angas of Gopyā Varan. Okay, so Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam is eternal. Therefore, we should study it, sing it out loud, and discuss it, not just during the month of Kārtika, but every day throughout Chaturmasya. It is so important that it is worth reading every month, and indeed every day of the year. If this Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam is glorified in a sublimely pure way, then Śrī Damodar will become pleased. It is with this intention that with great effort we have compiled this book. In doing so, we are especially indebted to the revered Pandit Śrī Yuta Navina Chandra Smriti Vyakaran Tirtha Mahodaya. He has given valuable assistance in translating the Dig-darśinī commentary into Bengali and in the presentation of the synonyms and so forth. In some places, the Dig-darśinī commentary seems so incomprehensible that it was almost impossible to unearth its true meaning. He therefore personally underwent great pains to consult pundits from Navadvip and many other places, and discuss these sections with them, thereby ascertaining a perfectly relevant meaning. We are therefore especially indebted to him. The Dig-darśinī commentary has been published in several editions of Hari Bhakti Vilas, chapter 16. After comparing the original verses with these commentaries, we have published everything in such a way as to be consistent. In his commentary on this book, Srila Sanātana Gosvāmī has mentioned the concepts presented in his Śrī Bhagavatamrita. We have included those concepts as endnotes. There, we have published the original verses of Śrī Bhagavatamrita along with their translations, explicitly conveying their deeper meaning for the reader's easy understanding. Finally, my English prayer to the Shuddha Vaishnavas is that they become pleased by reading and discussing this book during Chaturmasya and Urja Vrat. I will then consider my efforts successful. Thus, I conclude, Shri Bhakti Pragyan Keshav, first day of Kārtika, 1954. Okay, so it is 7:48. I'll try to finish by 8 o'clock. Here's the Guru Parampara pictures. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad. Srila Sanātana Goswami Pad. And here is in Gokul, here is the grinding mortar where Kṛṣṇa delivered the twin Arjuna trees. Jai Gopal said that the little boy here, he went to take this picture, and the little boy was he was the pujari, but he was wearing pants. And so Jai Gopal, he's just wearing pants. And so then Jai Gopal put his saffron chadar around him, and then he photoshopped a dhoti on him. Yeah, that's a little pujari for the thing. Okay, and I think he put tilak on him also. Okay, so there's Śrī Radha Damodar. So beautiful, huh? Okay. Let's sing, or maybe we should just sing Damodarāṣṭakam and then call it a day today, and then we can read the first commentary tomorrow. Maybe let's do that so that we don't go over time. Namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād dhāvamānaṁ parāmṛṣṭam atyantato drutya gopyā rudantam muhurnetrayugmam mrijantam karam bhojayugmena satankanetram muhusvasakam patrirekanka kantha stitagraiva damodaram bhaktivedāntam iti driksvalilabhir ananda kunde swagosha nimanjantam agyāpayantam tadiyeshita geshu bhaktarchitatvam punaprematastam Satyavrata vande varam deva moksha na moksha vadim va na chanya vreneham varesharapiha idam te vapurnata gopala balam sada me manasya virastam kim anya idam te mukham bhojam avyakta nilai vrittam kuntailai snigdha raktaishta gopya mohushumvitam bimba rakta dharan me manasya virastam alam laksha labhai. And also many places it's instead of avyakta nilai, it is atyanta nilai. Namadeva Damodarānanta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhu Dukha Jalaktimagnam Vipatrishti Vrishtyati Dinam Bhatano Grihane Shamam Agyam Edakshidrishan Kuberatmajo Baddha Murtaiva Yadvat Tvaya mochito bhakti bharjo krito cha tatha prema bhaktim swakame prayacha namokshe graho misti damodareha namaste stu damne spuradipti damne Tvadyadharayata Vishwasadamne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Nantalilai Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Nantalilai Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nantalilai Devaya Tubhyam namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jai. Actually, the meter for this is what is it called? I think it's called Bhujanga Prayatnam, and it's na 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 na. So the actual like really proper meter, which nobody actually sings, it would be namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād dhāvamānaṁ parāmṛṣṭam atyantato drutya like that. Rudantam muhurnetrayugmam rejantam karambojayugmena satankanetram Muhusvasakampa Trirekanka Sitagrai Vadama Paraya like that. Da 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 that's the okay. Guess we still have 5 minutes. Should we just read like a paragraph of Srila Sanātana Gosvāmī's? Let's just read we'll read this tomorrow. But let's just see how it begins. So the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā bhāvanuvad. Śrī Sahitam Natva Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Dāmodarāṣṭakam Vyakhya Dig-gesha darshate dhuna. So Srila Sanātana Gosvāmī, this verse means after offering obeisances to the Supreme Controller Śrī Damodara, accompanied by Śrī Radha, this explanation of Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, known as Dig-darśinī, insight that guides us towards the inner meaning, is herewith presented. With the intention of making his prayer, so Srila Sanātana Gosvāmī, he's saying, with the intention of making his prayer, Sri Satyavrata Muni first offers his devoted obeisances to Bhagavan Shri Kṛṣṇa with the word namāmi, which invokes auspiciousness. He offers his obeisances by extolling Shri Kṛṣṇa's supremacy through descriptions pertaining to the speciality of his tattva, his form, his pastimes, and his qualities. So all that's contained, Krishna's tattva, his rup, lila, and gun. All of that is in this first verse. Thus, Sri Satyavrata Muni declares the unique supremacy manifested by Sri Kṛṣṇa in Gokul to be the very essence and entirety of Godhead. It is vital to offer respects to one's worshipful deity before beginning any task. Also, by this gesture, Sri Satyavrata Muni exhibits his special feeling of dasya bhakti, devotion to Bhagavan in the mood of a servant. For this reason, he begins his prayer by offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. And you see how Damodarāṣṭakam is a progression. It starts from dasya, and then it goes into vatsalya, and then finally it culminates in madhuras. And so he explains that in this, there is the speciality of Krishna's tattva, his form, his pastimes, and his qualities. So first, his tattva. Srila Sanātana Gosvāmī first discusses the profound fundamental truths underlying the identity of Sri Bhagavan, Kṛṣṇa tattva. Herein relates Sri Satyavrata Muni's thoughts. So Satyavrata Muni is thinking, to whom am I offering obeisances? To Ishvar, the Supreme Controller. That Ishvar he is one, Sarva Shaktiman, he is the possessor of all potencies. 2, he is Jagat Ekanath. He is the sole Lord of the entire world. And 3, Nija Prabhu. He is my own dear master. I am offering my obeisances to that Ishwar. In the first facet of Ishwar, Sarva Shaktiman, the possessor of all potency, Śrī Satyavrata Muni seeks the potency to offer prayers and glorification to Śrī Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. The second facet, the sole Lord of the entire world, conveys that Ishwar is alone his topmost worshipful and praiseworthy Lord. Finally, in relation to the last facet of Ishwar, that he is Nija Prabhu, right? He's my own dear master. Śrī Satyavrata Muni expresses his own special bhakti for his Lord. How is Ishwar manifest? Addressing this question, Śrī Satyavrata Muni says, Ishwar is manifest as the beautiful form of concentrated, pure, eternal existence, full knowledge, and unlimited bliss, sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ. Thus, the sage has explained the unrivaled supremacy of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the object of his prayers, by narrating the special, profound, fundamental truths, the tattva, underlying his identity. Okay, so we go from tattva, then to form, and so now the commentator discusses Śrī Bhagavan's beautiful form. Śrī Satyavrata Muni shows the exceptional supremacy of Śrī Kṛṣṇa by describing the unique beauty of his form. He describes how his earrings are swinging, lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ. Because he is running away from his mother, Śrī Yaśodā, out of fear, or else because it is his nature to always make transcendental childish mischief due to unceasing restlessness, makara-shaped earrings constantly swing near his cheeks and seem to be playing there. In this way, the sage describes the speciality of the extraordinary splendor of Śrī Kṛṣṇa's worshipful face. Yet another meaning of lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ is those two makara-shaped earrings have achieved the celebrated fortune of kissing Śrī Kṛṣṇa's cheeks and are therefore the most exalted of all his ornaments. Consequently, simply by mentioning Śrī Kṛṣṇa's earrings, the special fortune of all the other ornaments or adorning his various limbs is implied. For this reason, Śrī Satyavrata Muni is indicating, I am offering obeisances to that personality whose bodily luster beautifies his earrings. In other words, Śrī Kṛṣṇa's limbs even beautify their ornaments. Usually ornaments beautify the body, right? But for Kṛṣṇa, it's the reverse. Kṛṣṇa beautifies his ornaments. So in other words, Śrī Kṛṣṇa's limbs even beautify their own ornaments. For this reason, the gopis have said, Trailokya sobhagamidam chanirikshya-rūpaṁ yargo dija druma-mrga pulakanya-bhibran. This is Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:29-40. Dear Kṛṣṇa, as a result of beholding your beautiful form, which has enhanced the fortune of the three worlds, even the bodies of the cows, birds, trees, deer, and others have erupted with horripilation. Is it all surprising then that your beautiful form bewilders us? Also, while Sri Uddhava was describing Śrī Kṛṣṇa's beautiful form to Vidura, he said, Vismapanam swasya cha sobhagarde param padam bhushanam bhushanangam. Sorry, bhushanangam. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't say that. That's Śrīmad Bhagavatam 3-12. We'll end with this translation of this verse. Śrī Kṛṣṇa's form is so captivating that even he is astonished when he sees himself. His beautiful form embodies the topmost limit of exceedingly good fortune and opulence. Indeed, ornaments usually beautify the person wearing them, but Śrī Kṛṣṇa's form is so beautiful that he actually increases the beauty of his ornaments. In other words, compared to all other divine forms in existence, the beauty of his form is supremely divine. Okay, so we'll end there. But yeah, we got a short explanation of first Kṛṣṇa's tattva and then his form. And then I guess next is, what was it? Next will be his pastimes and then his qualities. That's all explained in this verse. And so we'll read that all tomorrow. All right, that's our program. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. जय श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय, श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय, श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय, जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय, जय श्री परम गुरुदेव की जय, जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री रूपानु गौरी गुरु वर्ग की जय, सपार्षद श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीगान की जय, श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय, श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय, जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, जय श्री Damodarāṣṭaka की जय, श्री Sanātana गोस्वामी पाद की जय, his Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā की जय, और श्री गुरुदेव Dig-darśinī-vṛtti की जय, जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन, जय श्री कार्तिक व्रत नियम सेवा की जय, ऊर्ज व्रत की जय, ऊर्जेश्वरी रासेश्वरी श्री विश्वभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय, जय श्री अ जय श्री यशोदा दामोदर की जय, श्री राधा दामोदर की जय, श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्री सत्यव्रत मुनि की जय, जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः, वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो namo namaha. Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining. Dandavat pranams, Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatharini Mataji, Champak Mataji, Chatamai Mataji, and oh, my brother is there. Haribo, Krishna Murari, Haribo. Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. And Ramakanta Prabhu, Bharat Bhushan Prabhu, Jai Shri Didi, Vidyalalasa Didi, Ghanasham Prabhu, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, if Rupa Raghunath Prabhu is there, I know Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, who said she'll be watching very soon, and Shachi Devi, Jai Dev Prabhu, and all the other devotees watching. My brother is saying, thank you for always having such relevant and timely topics to explore. Thank you. I'm grateful to all of you because I'm very lazy on my own. So this forces me to keep a vrat going. I did something a little unconventional, like I'm just trying this out. I've never done this before, but this time I tried writing. I have a very simple vrat, like basically just like it's nothing special. It's something that I should do like every day. It's not like like I'm doing anything extra, but I just because usually it always fizzles out towards the end of like after 2 weeks. Usually I'm not able to maintain it, so I'm trying to like track my breath. So I just wrote in my notebook like a thing like that. I don't know. It's might be a way to I can actually maintain a breath. All right. So I'll see you all tomorrow, and yeah. Also, sorry I started late today. I started like 10 minutes late this morning. I'm still in the middle of doing this last proofread of the songbook, and but I think maybe in 2 days I'll be finished, 2 or 3 days, and then I'll be much more together then, and I'll be able to start on time and all that. But maybe for the next few days, because I'm going to sleep kind of late and just whatever. All right. See you all tomorrow. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end today's program?